Something has been weighing on your heart lately, and you haven't told anyone. You pray, you wait, you cry out, and yet it feels like the heavens are quiet. Every day you move forward because you have to, but inside there's this gnawing uncertainty. Am I doing the right thing? Am I missing something? You look around, and everyone seems to have clarity, direction, and momentum. Meanwhile, you're stuck in this quiet void, wondering if your next step is guided or if you're just wandering blindly. The frustration builds slowly like a silent storm inside you, and the more you pray, the more the silence echoes back, almost as if God is nowhere to be found. But here's the truth most people don't tell you: silence doesn't always mean absence. Always what feels like emptiness might actually be the space where something greater is being prepared in your life. Yet in the middle of this quiet, your heart races with doubt. Should you move forward or wait? Should you push, or is patience your only ally? Take a moment to feel that tension, because this is exactly where most people give up. They assume the quiet is a sign to stop, but often it's the exact moment that calls for courage. You're being tested in the subtle spaces, in the places no one else can see, and there's a hidden power in learning to move even when the path is unclear. If you've ever felt like you're walking without clear answers, stay with this. Don't scroll away. There's a reason your silence has been so loud, and by the end of this message, you'll see it in a way you haven't before. Like something about this quiet season is not what it seems. And in just a few moments, you'll discover why the stillness you feel is actually shaping your next breakthrough. You've been standing at a crossroads for what feels like forever, unsure which way to go. Every step forward seems risky, and every pause feels like a failure. Should I move, or should I wait? The question circles in your mind like a relentless storm, leaving you paralyzed. You want direction, but all you hear is silence, and it begins to feel personal, like you've been left on your own. It's exhausting. You pray for clarity, for a sign, for even a whisper of confirmation, but nothing comes. You start to question yourself. Am I missing something? Did I misinterpret God's guidance? Maybe I've been moving too fast, or not fast enough. That inner dialogue can spiral into making you feel spiritually disconnected, emotionally drained, and completely alone. Here's the hidden truth most people don't realize. Silence often feels like abandonment, but that's not reality. The stillness you're experiencing isn't a void. It's a space for preparation, reflection, and trust building. Your faith isn't being ignored, it's being refined. And the tension you feel isn't a punishment. It's a signal that something is being cultivated within you that can't be rushed. Imagine a seed buried in the soil. It doesn't grow instantly, and yet beneath the surface, life is stirring. And that's exactly what's happening in your heart during this quiet season. You may not see movement yet, but unseen growth is happening. The struggle, the hesitation, and the fear are all part of the process, shaping, testing, and readying you for the moment when clarity finally arrives. You are not alone in this. Millions of people face this same internal tug of war, yet only a few recognize it as part of a larger spiritual journey. Right now, the discomfort is real, but it is not permanent. Your current uncertainty is the precursor to a breakthrough that will feel like a divine nudge, not a whisper of abandonment. Pause for a moment and acknowledge how you feel. Your doubts, your hesitation, your fear, these are all valid. And while it may feel unbearable now, this internal conflict is exactly where your courage is being forged. Have you noticed how your mind seems to hit a wall the moment God goes silent? You plan, you pray, and you wait, yet your thoughts spiral into loops of doubt. The reason is simple. Though most people don't realize it, your brain craves certainty. It wants clear instructions, visible outcomes, and confirmation before it allows you to take the next step. When that certainty is missing, hesitation sets in. You replay scenarios over and over in your head, trying to predict every possible outcome. You analyze every decision, dissect every small sign, and yet still feel frozen. This overthinking isn't a flaw, it's your mind doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's seeking safety, looking for guarantees in a world where guarantees don't always exist. Wait, this is where most people get stuck. They confuse silence with abandonment. They interpret the lack of immediate feedback as a signal to stop moving altogether. But here's the spiritual truth. Faith is precisely about stepping forward without seeing the whole path. Abraham walked into unknown lands with only God's promise to guide him. Moses led millions without knowing what the journey would look like at every turn. Faith requires action in the midst of uncertainty, and this is exactly what your silence is teaching you. Your hesitation, though uncomfortable, has a purpose. It's shaping your patience, strengthening your trust, and teaching you how to move forward with intention rather than impulse. Each moment you resist giving up, each time you push past fear, you are conditioning your heart to rely not on what you see, but on what God has promised. Think about it for a second. Every decision you delay because you lack clarity is an opportunity to practice faith. Every moment of internal debate is an invisible rehearsal for the courage you'll need when clarity finally comes. Silence isn't a barrier, it's a training ground for the disciplined heart, the one that moves even when the way forward is unclear. By the end of this chapter, you'll understand that the very frustration you feel is a tool, a hidden mechanism designed to stretch your trust. It's uncomfortable, yes, but discomfort is the prelude to growth. Your mind freezes in silence, not to stop you, but to prepare you. And that preparation, though unseen, is where the next breakthrough begins to take root. Have you ever wondered why so many of God's most faithful servants moved forward without knowing the full picture? Abraham didn't have a map, and Moses didn't have step-by-step instructions. Yet they took the first step anyway, trusting that each move would reveal the next. This is a spiritual principle most people overlook. God often gives direction in steps, not full maps. He doesn't hand you the entire journey at once, because what you need isn't certainty, it's trust. Think about Abraham leaving his home, family, and familiar surroundings. He didn't know the destination. Every step required obedience without evidence. Every mile walked was a choice to trust the invisible hand guiding him. That's exactly what your silence might be asking of you right now. It's not a sign that you're forgotten or overlooked. It's a call to move intentionally, one step at a time, even when clarity hasn't arrived yet. Here's the twist many miss. Silence may actually be intentional preparation. God is shaping your heart, refining your patience, and strengthening your resilience. And the quiet seasons aren't emptiness, they are laboratories for your faith. Each moment of uncertainty is teaching you to rely not on what you see, but on what you believe. It's easy to become impatient, comparing your journey to others. You see people moving, doors opening, lives shifting, and you wonder why your breakthrough hasn't come yet. But the truth is, your timing is different because your preparation is unique. The silence isn't a pause for nothing. It's a rehearsal, a hidden stage where your character, discernment, and courage are being developed. Take a moment to reflect. Every time you feel lost, stuck, or unsure, it's actually a chance to practice trust in action. Abraham's steps were small, uncertain, and sometimes uncomfortable, but they led to monumental fulfillment. Your steps, though they feel tentative, are building a foundation for something far greater than you can see right now. And here's what you need to know before we move forward. the silence you've been enduring may contain the very insight, clarity, or breakthrough you've been praying for. But you'll only discover it if you continue to move. It's easy to look at silence and assume nothing is happening. You pray, wait, and watch as the world keeps moving around you. But here's a spiritual truth that most people never understand. Silence is not absence, it's development. What feels like emptiness, like a pause in your progress, is actually a carefully designed space for your trust to grow. Think about it. Trust is not formed in clarity. It is forged in uncertainty, in moments when you can't see the full path ahead, but are asked to take a step anyway. Every time you hesitate, every time you wait for the perfect sign, you are missing a crucial lesson. Movement itself creates clarity. You don't wait for certainty, you step forward, and the way unfolds under your feet. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine someone who's been offered a new job, but feels unsure if it's the right choice. They wait, asking for signs, searching for guarantees, afraid of making the wrong move. Days turn into weeks and weeks into months, and in the meantime, opportunities pass them by. Then one day they finally move with faith, just one step, and suddenly things align. Doors open, connections appear, and the clarity they were waiting for arrives. Not before they moved, but because they moved. Your life works the same way. The silence, the waiting, the uncertainty, it's not meant to paralyze you. It's meant to train your trust and to show you that your next step is less about knowing everything and more about believing enough to act. The discomfort you feel right now is your training ground, shaping a heart that doesn't depend on perfect circumstances, but on unwavering faith. Pause here for a second and let this sink in. If this is hitting something real for you, don't rush past this part. This moment of reflection is exactly where your growth begins. The tension you feel, the hesitation, the fear, is evidence that you're at the threshold of a breakthrough. Don't dismiss it. Lean into it. Remember, trust doesn't grow in abundance. It grows in scarcity. It grows when you feel like giving up, when the signs haven't come, and when silence seems unending. Each step you take in this quiet season is building courage, character, and clarity that will carry you forward far beyond the moment you're standing in right now. Here's the truth most people miss. Waiting for everything to be perfect is the fastest way to stay stuck. You've been conditioned to believe that clarity comes first and movement comes second, but in reality the opposite is true. Action creates clarity. One small step, taken with faith and intention, can set in motion a chain of events you never expected. Be honest with yourself for a moment. Think about the last time you felt led to do something, maybe a conversation, a project, a decision, but you ignored it because the timing didn't feel right or the signs weren't clear. That hesitation might have felt safe, but what if it also delayed your breakthrough? What if that one small step you avoided could have changed everything? Today, the invitation is simple. Move with what you already know. You don't need every piece of the puzzle. You don't need a detailed map of the road ahead. You only need to take the next step that your heart, your spirit, or your intuition is guiding you toward. This isn't reckless, it's faith in action. It's learning to trust that God, life, or the universe will meet you on the path you're bold enough to walk. Here's a small exercise for you. Close your eyes and recall one thing you've been avoiding because of uncertainty. Now imagine taking the first tiny action toward it, no matter how small. Visualize the step. Feel the resistance. Notice the fear. Then picture what might happen if you actually do it. The clarity, the growth, the shift that comes not from waiting, but from moving. Movement, even imperfect movement, has a multiplier effect. It trains your mind to recognize opportunities, it shifts your perspective, and it strengthens your faith that action, not hesitation, creates momentum. And here's the kicker. Each time you take a step forward despite uncertainty, the next step becomes easier. Your courage compounds and your trust becomes natural, not forced. Take a deep breath and let this settle in. Your next move doesn't have to be monumental. It doesn't have to be perfect. It only has to be intentional. The smallest act of faith today can ignite transformation that you can't yet see, but will unmistakably feel tomorrow. Right now, your heart might be heavy with doubt. You've been hesitant, second-guessing every move, waiting for signs that never came. But there's a subtle shift happening inside you, even if you haven't noticed it yet. When that tension you've carried for so long, the fear, the confusion, the uncertainty, is beginning to transform. What felt like paralysis is slowly giving way to surrender. What felt like a lack of direction is quietly becoming confidence. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the unseen, embracing the unknown, and taking the next step, even when your mind doesn't have all the answers. You are learning that faith isn't about waiting for perfect clarity. It's about moving forward with what you already know and believing that God, life, or the universe will meet you where you are. Notice the change in your own spirit. Even the smallest acknowledgement that you can move without knowing everything is a victory. Even a quiet decision to act despite fear is a monumental step forward. That hesitation you've carried is dissolving, being replaced by a subtle, steady confidence that whispers, "I may not see the whole path, but I am being guided." Before we go into this prayer, don't disconnect here. This moment matters more than you think. Let the realization settle. Your next steps aren't random. They are intentional movements of faith. The quiet inside you isn't emptiness, it's preparation. The discomfort you feel isn't failure, it's growth. And the courage you've been building in silence is about to bear fruit in ways you haven't yet imagined. Take a breath and feel it. That weight on your chest, that uncertainty in your mind, they are beginning to lift. You are standing at the edge of a breakthrough, and in just a moment we're going to step into a prayer that brings this transformation fully into your heart, grounding your trust and solidifying the courage that's already stirring within you. Lord, you know the quiet that has weighed on the heart of the one listening right now. You see the hesitation, the fear, and the countless moments of uncertainty that have kept them from stepping forward. You understand the nights spent in prayer with no answer, the days of moving forward without clear direction, and the quiet spaces where confusion has felt heavier than hope. Today we bring it all before you, not pretending that it's easy, not hiding the struggle, but laying it bare. Lord, grant clarity where there has been confusion. Give courage where fear has held its grip. Strengthen the trust that has wavered, so that even in silence, the next step is taken with faith, not doubt. Help the heart to understand that waiting does not mean being lost. And that movement does not require full understanding, just a willingness to trust. As we step into this prayer, let peace begin to fill the spaces where uncertainty has lived. Let the tension in the chest ease. Let the heaviness of hesitation lift. Replace doubt with quiet confidence and replace fear with steady courage. Remind the one listening that even when the path ahead is unclear, each step taken in faith is a step toward purpose, toward clarity, toward transformation. Lord, we ask for discernment in every decision, wisdom in every pause, and strength to act even when the signs are not fully visible. Help the heart to recognize that silence is not abandonment but preparation. That stillness is not emptiness but growth. That waiting is not failure but formation. And that each small, intentional step taken today carries weight far beyond what can be seen in the moment. We also ask for peace over the mind and spirit. Calm racing thoughts, quiet overthinking, and soothe the anxiety that comes from not knowing everything. Let this prayer be a bridge between the fear of stepping forward and the trust that action creates clarity. Let the one listening feel a shift from confusion to quiet confidence, from hesitation to surrender, and from worry to hope. And now, as this moment settles, may they carry this understanding into every action, every decision, and every silent moment ahead. May the realization that full clarity is not required for meaningful movement take root deeply in their heart. May the courage built in silence finally bear fruit. And may they see that the quiet season was never a void. It was a hidden, a sacred preparation for the breakthrough that is coming. If this prayer aligned with your spirit, you can write Amen, or simply take this moment quietly, letting it settle in your heart. Let the truth sink in. You don't need all the answers to take the next step. The silence you've been feeling is not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with courage, clarity, and trust.